If it is your first time in Madrid, choosing where to stay can be a complex task. The center of Madrid, although not huge, is quite extensive, and there is a lot of information and advice out there that it's not always easy to interpret. Here's our first tip. There is no best area to stay in Madrid. There are several areas that can be very good. It all depends on what you're looking for and also on your budget. And here's the second tip. Although the center of Madrid is relatively large, if you choose an address close to a metro station, it will be very difficult to go wrong. Hola, ¿qué tal? Hello, welcome to the channel where we share travel tips for Spain and Portugal. In this video, we're going to present you a whole series of regions that we believe can be a good choice to look for accommodation on your first visit to Madrid. And at the end of the video, pay attention to that, we will travel to a more distant neighborhood to talk about an area that, although not in the center, may not be bad for those looking for budget accommodation. Let's go with the third tip. If possible, look for accommodation within an area delimited by an imaginary line that starts at Parque del Oeste, continues along Alberto Aguilera, Sagasta and Serrano streets, and at Príncipe de Vergara turns south following the east side of Parque del Retiro. The line turns west, passing through Atocha station. It passes along the west side of the Royal Palace and closes the rectangle at Paseo de la Florida. And why do we want you to stay in this area? We are now placing on the screen the location of the main tourist attractions in Madrid, which will help you understand the reason. By staying in these areas, you will be close to everything. Only a very small number of attractions, such as the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium, which is in the north of Madrid, or part of the Madrid-Rio Park, which is in the south, are left out of the map. If you select accommodation in this area, close to a metro station, success is guaranteed. Let's move a little closer to the center to start talking about very central areas that we think are great to look for accommodation, each one with its own personality. The area of Madrid de los Austrias is the heart of the oldest part of the city, where Madrid was founded. The Austrias dynasty, the name in Spanish for the Habsburgs, created in Madrid what is known as the historic center of the city, with buildings that evoke memories of Spain's imperial past, the largest known empire on the planet. And as a reference to this past, this part of Madrid is known as Madrid de los Austrias. Madrid de los Austrias and the neighboring Puerta del Sol area are two of the favorite locations for those who want to be close to everything, in an area full of pedestrian streets and where almost everything can be done on foot. In favor of staying in Madrid de los Austrias and Sol, you are in the heart of Madrid. It is close to many places of interest. There is a wide range of hotels of all types, from pensions to luxury hotels, and the transport connections are excellent. On the downside, there are many tourists, day and night, and especially in and around the Puerta del Sol, it can get very crowded. Puerta del Sol is often the scene of protests. The area is full of metro stations and a major train station at Puerta del Sol. It is also home to some of the city's most important tourist attractions. For each region in the video, we will share several accommodation suggestions, which you will see on the screen now, in different price ranges: budget, mid-range and luxury. We'll put links to more information about those hotels in the first comment below the video. If you don't mind crowds and the heavy presence of tourists, the region can be a perfect choice. If you prefer places with a more local flavor, choose another region. Next to Sol, Barrio de las Letras, the neighborhood of the letters, also known as Huertas, is our second choice. It is a small area in the center of Madrid, famous for having hosted at some point in their lives famous Spanish writers such as Cervantes Quevedo, Góngora or Lope de Vega. The main attraction of the neighborhood lies in its curious and diversified offer. Museums, antique shops, traditional and modern fashion stores, taverns and bars are mixed with gambling, alternative stores, laundries, and other veteran businesses. At night, some areas of the region trade historic flavor for partying. There are few outstanding attractions in the neighborhood, but its strategic location is highly valued by those who choose it. In favor of staying in the area of Las Letras, it is a part of Madrid that looks and feels like a real neighborhood, without tall buildings, with narrow tree-lined streets. It is close to many places of interest. There are many bars and restaurants, and it is lively day and night. On the downside, the absence of public transport in its narrow streets, and the hustle and bustle around the squares and bars can be a nuisance for those looking for tranquility. There are only metro stations in the limits of the neighborhood. Atocha station is very close to its southern end. Las Letras is close to many tourist attractions, including Madrid de los Austrias. Here are our recommendations for accommodation in the neighborhood. If you're looking for a neighborhood that is well located, lively, and you don't mind walking a bit to get to public transportation, you might adore Barrio de las Letras. The area surrounding the Atocha station is not a neighborhood as such, but a group of neighborhoods near the station. It has plenty of accommodation options due to the convenience of this location for those who plan to arrive or leave Madrid by train or make several day trips from Madrid by train as well. In favor of staying in the Atocha area, the convenience of being close to the railway station, which connections to the airport and many other parts of Spain. There are many hotels and there are good connections to get around Madrid, including the free bus 001, which is very handy for sightseeing in Madrid. On the downside, it is a very busy area. There is a lot of traffic, both vehicles and travelers coming and going from the station. We have a video in which we tell you everything you need to know about the free line 001. Now take a look at our recommendations for accommodation in the neighborhood. If you plan to use Atocha station several times, the convenience of staying nearby may justify staying in the area close to many of Madrid's attractions. The area known as Paseo del Arte includes some of the most famous museums in Madrid in a very posh area between the Paseo del Prado and the Retiro Park, which reaches the National Archaeological Museum in the Salamanca neighborhood in the north. It is a paradise for those interested in art and culture. It is a neighborhood with wide, elegant streets and many historic buildings. In favor of staying in the Paseo del Arte area, the proximity to the best museums in Madrid and the fact that it is a very elegant area. On the downside, in some parts of the area the metro can be a bit far away, but with a bus you can easily reach everywhere. And the prices of the hotels are higher, with no budget options. These are our recommendations for accommodation in the neighborhood. As we just mentioned, there are no budget accommodations in the area. If you are looking for a nice and elegant place, close to museums and the wonderful Retiro Park, you will love the Paseo del Arte. The long Gran Via Avenue and the Plaza de España at one end are a favorite address for many people visiting Madrid. Gran Via is not a neighborhood as such, but a fairly well-defined address. The avenue is famous for its stores and also for being the street that never sleeps. Along it, there are countless stores, hotels, and theaters. The tourist industry refers to part of the Gran Via as the Spanish Broadway. The avenue is considered a showcase of 20th century architectural styles, such as Viennese, Secession, Plateresque, Neo-Mudéjar, and Art Deco. It is frequented by many tourists out shopping. The Plaza de España at the end of the Gran Via is a large open space surrounding many of Madrid's sites. It offers a respite from the constant bustle of the Gran Via itself. In favor of staying in the region of Gran Via and Plaza de España, you are close to many places of interest. There is a wide choice of hotels of all types, from hostels to luxury hotels. Transport connections are excellent, including the free bus line 001, which runs along the avenue from end to end. And it is a shopping paradise for those interested, and also a leisure hub with many cinemas and theaters. On the downside, there are many tourists day and night. The traffic on the avenue can be unbearable, and except for the Plaza de España, you will hardly see a tree. Everything is concrete. Here are our suggestions for accommodation in the neighborhood. Like Puerta del Sol, Gran Via is an area for those who do not mind the crowds and the massive presence of tourists. It is close to almost everything and transportation is very good, but the amount of people can be uncomfortable for some. Chueca and Malasaña are two traditional neighborhoods of Madrid that, despite being in the heart of the city, were for a long time off the beaten track. Today, they are two very fashionable neighborhoods, each with its own personality. Chueca is the neighborhood where you can find the most alternative and bohemian corners of Madrid, largely because it is the gay neighborhood of the city, but also because it is the favorite neighborhood of young people from many different backgrounds. Malasaña is a more bourgeois neighborhood that has become the paradise of hipsters and trendy people. Its streets are full of pop art, stores with local and international brands, and alternative venues with music of all kinds. In favor of staying in the neighborhoods of Chueca and Malasaña, the southern part of the neighborhoods near Gran Via is close to many places of interest. There is a wide range of accommodation, mainly hostels and hostales. Although there are many narrow streets, the transport connections are good, and there are two neighborhoods for those looking for alternative places. On the downside, there is heavy presence of people, locals and tourists, day and night, and the noise near the nightclubs can be annoying. Here are our recommendations for accommodation in the two neighborhoods. They are neighborhoods that will attract those looking for a lively area, nightlife and lots of bars, restaurants and alternative stores, with a gay atmosphere in the case of Chueca and a hipster vibe in the case of Malasaña. Here's a quick summary of what we have seen so far. On the screen you can now see 6 perfect areas to look for accommodation on a first visit to the capital of Spain. Next, we are going to show you several neighboring areas of the previous ones where it would not be a bad idea to book accommodation. But here it would be convenient that you have some knowledge of the neighborhood, because one location or another within the same area can greatly change your experience. Neighborhoods like Lavapiés, for example, have very different parts, and Chamberí or Salamanca are huge neighborhoods. Wherever you go, always remember the rule of the proximity to the metro. And as we announced at the beginning, we are not going to talk about an area far away from the center of Madrid, but that can be great for those looking for budget accommodation. Do you remember our map of the center of Madrid? We need to change the scale as we are going quite far away to the large district of San Blas Canillejas, more specifically around the Suances metro station. It is a neighborhood where you will find many mechanical workshops and offices, the headquarters of the important newspaper El País, and a number of budget hotels that have emerged in the last decade. Now you can see the location of several of those hotels on the screen. Remember, you will find the links in the comment below the video. The area is not particularly pretty, but it's not unsafe either. As there are many workers and tourists staying in the hotels, there are also many cafes and restaurants and some supermarkets. The metro station is on Calle Alcalá, an avenue that starts right next to Puerta del Sol in the center of Madrid. The Metro Line 5, which runs through Suances after a long journey, runs through several very convenient stations in the center of Madrid. You will be staying far from the center, but you will have direct transportation to it. And this concludes our low-cost advice. To help you optimize your time in Madrid and make the most of your visit, we have published our very own Madrid walking tours. They are electronic guides of our own that will take you through the most important must-see parts of Madrid, including food stops along the way. No need to rack your brains on how to visit Madrid, we've done that work for you. Our series of Madrid walking tours are part of our collection of walking tours dedicated to the most important cities in Spain and published through our Travel Guide Spain and Portugal brand. We hope we have helped you to better choose your accommodation in Madrid. As always, if you have any questions about the topic of the video, take advantage of the commentary box to ask. If you are going to visit Madrid, For sure, you will want to avoid making a lot of mistakes, typical among first-timers in the capital of Spain. In the video you're watching now on the screen, we have put together the most important ones. Be sure to take a look. We're already waiting for you on that video.